Hello students, welcome back to my channel Smart Engineer. In this video, we will see the remaining part of GSM, that is localization of user and calling in GSM. Now we will see how it performs. One fundamental feature of GSM system is the automatic worldwide localization of users. The system always know where a user currently is and the same phone number is valid worldwide. To provide this service, GSM performs periodic location updates even if a user does not use the mobile station, in which there are four numbers, that is mobile station international, that is ISDN number MSISDN, international mobile subscriber identity, that is IMSI, temporary mobile subscriber identity, that is TMSI, and last is the MSRN, that is mobile station roaming number. We will see one by one. First one is the MSISDN. The only important number for a user of GSM is the phone number. Remember that the phone number is not associated with a certain device but with the SIM which is personalized for a user. The MSISDN follows ITU-T standard, that is E.164 for addresses, as it is also used in fixed ISDN networks. Second one is the IMSI. GSM uses the IMSI for internal unique identification of a subscriber. IMSI consists of a mobile country code, that is MCC. For example, 240 for Sweden, 208 for France. The mobile network code MNC, that is code of the network provider. And finally, the mobile subscriber identification number, that is MSIN. Temporary mobile subscriber identity, that is TMSI, which is used to hide the IMSI, which would give away from the exact identity of the user signaling over the air interface. GSM uses 4-byte TMSI for local subscriber identification. And last one is the mobile station roaming number, that is MSRN. Another temporary address that hides the identity and location of a subscriber is MSRN. The VLR generates this address on request from the MSC, and the address is also stored in the HLR. Now next one is the GSM calling, in which mobile terminated call. Figure shows that the calling station connected to PSTN, PSTN connected to GMSC, GMSC connected to MSC, and BSC, BSS and BSS connected to MSCs, means number of BSCs connected to MSC. Also HLR and VLR connected to GMSC and MSC. The situation in which a station calls a mobile station, the calling station could be outside the GSM network or another mobile station. In step 1, user dials the phone number of a GSM subscriber. The fixed network PSTN notices, looking at a destination code, that number belongs to a user in the GSM network and forward the call setup to the gateway, that is MSC, to 2. GMSC identifies the HLR for the subscriber and signals the call setup to the HLR. To step 3. HLR now checks whether the number exists and whether the user has subscribed to the requested service, and requests the MSRN from the current VLR to 4. After receiving MSRN, the HLR can determine the MSC responsible for the MS and forward this information to GMSC. to step 6. GMSC can now forward the call setup request to the MSC indicated, which is to step 7. From this point, and the MSC is responsible for all further steps. First, it requests the call status of the MS from the VLR to step 8. If MS is available, the MSC initiate paging in all cell. It is responsible for the location area to step 10. As searching for the right cell would be too time consuming. But this approach puts some load on the signaling channel so that optimization exists. The BTSS and BSS transmit this paging signal to MS to 11. MS answers 12 and 13. VLR has to perform security checks up to encryption. The VLR then signals to the MSC to set up a connection to the MS. That is up to step 15 to 17. And how is it works? Now next one is the mobile originated call. It is much simpler to perform a mobile originated call compared to MTC. The MS transmits a request for a new connection. The BSS forward this request to MSC. MSC then check if the user is allowed to set up a call with requested service and checks availability of resources through GSM network into the PSTN. If all resources are available, the MSC set up connection between MS and fix the network. In addition to the steps, other messages are exchanged between MS and BTS during connection. Now, next one is the message flow for MTC and MOC. For MTC and MOC, paging is only necessary for MTC. Then, similar to message exchanges follow. The first step in this context is the channel access via random access channel, that is RACH, with consecutive channel assignment. The channel assigned could be a traffic channel, that is TCH, or slower signaling channel, that is SDCCH. And the next step is the which are needed for communication security, compromise the authentication of the MS and switching to encrypted communication. This system now assign TCH. If this has not been done, the last advantage of only having to use SDCH during the first setup. If the setup fails, no TCH has been blocked. The following steps depend on the use of MTC and MOC. If someone is calling the MS, it answers now with altering, that MS is ringing, and with connect, then the user has pressed the connect button. Now next one is the types of handover in GSM. There are 4 types, that is intra-cell handover, inter-cell intra-BSC handover, inter-BSC intra-MSC handover, and inter-MSC handover. The wired infrastructure MSC-BSC may decide that the traffic in one cell is too high and shift some MS to other cells with a lower load. Handover may be due to load balancing. So we will see the one by one, that is intra-cell handover. In intra-cell handover, within a cell, narrow band interference could make transmission at a certain frequency impossible. The BSC could then decide to change the carrier frequency. In intra-cell intra-BSC handover, this is a typical handover scenario. The mobile station moves from one cell to another, but stays within a control of the same BSC. The BSc performs handover, assigns a new radio channel in a new cell and releases the old one. In inter-BSc, intra-MSc handover, as a BSc controls a limited number of cells, that is GSM has to perform handovers between cells controlled by different BScs. This handover then has to be controlled by the MSc. This situation is shown in the figure. Now last one is the inter-MSc handover. A handover could be required between two cells belonging to different MScs. Now both MScs perform the handover together. Next one is the signal flow for intra-MSc handover. In this figure, typical signal flow during inter-BSc, intra-MSc handover, the MS sends its periodic measurement. The BTS old forward this report to the BSc old together with its own measurements. Based on these values, example, on current traffic condition, the BSc old may decide to perform handover and sends the message to HO required to the MSc. The BTS new acknowledges the successful channel activation. BSc new acknowledges the handover request. Then MSc issues the handover command that is forwarded to the MS. Next topic is the GSM security services. GSM offers several security services using confidential information stored in the AUC and in the individual SIM. There are three services: access control and authentication, confidentiality and anonymity. We will see one by one. So what is access control and authentication? The first step includes the authentication of a valid user for SIM. The user needs a secret PIN to access the SIM. The next step is the subscriber authentication. Now next one is the confidentiality. All user related data is encrypted. After authentication, BTS and MS apply encryption to voice, data and signaling. This confidentiality exists only between MS and BTS, but it does not exist end-to-end or within the whole fixed GSM telephone network. Now last one is the anonymity. To provide user all data is encrypted before transmission and user identification are not used over the air. Instead, GSM transmits a temporary identification TMSI which is newly assigned by the VLR after each location update. Next one is the subscriber authentication. Figure shows that the subscriber authentication, which consists of AC, MSc, SIM with mobile network and mobile handset. Before a subscriber can use any service from the GSM network, he or she must be authenticated. Authentication is based on the SIM, which store the individual authentication key, that is KI. The user identification, that is IMSI, and the algorithm used for authentication A3. Authentication uses a challenge response method to access control. AC generates a random number, that is RAND, as challenge, and the SIM within the MS answer with SRES as shown in the figure. Signed response. As response shows the figure that the AUC perform the basic generation of random values, that is RAND. signed responses, that is SRES, and cipher keys, that is KC, for each IMSI, and then forward this information to the HLR. The current VLR requests the appropriate values for RAND, SRES and KC from the HLR. For authentication, the VLR sends the random value RAND to the SIM. Both sides, network and subscriber module, perform the same operation with RAND and the key, that is KI, called A3. If the MS sends back the SRES generated by the SIM, the VLR can now compare both values. VLR accepts the subscriber, otherwise the subscriber is rejected. Thank you.